going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 23 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we got week number 2 Team of the Week predictions. We're going to go over all of the players that could get a card in part 2, or I should say week 2 of the Team of the Week promotion that will drop tomorrow on Tuesday. Now, we are recording live from a random hotel in Philadelphia, so excuse the non-typical video that you guys are used to seeing. Let's start out by going over the format of Team of the Week. We basically got an idea of what to expect every week after last week on week number 1, and that's what we're taking a look at. So we get our offensive or defensive hero. It's basically like a player of the week, and it's either going to be offense or defense, but it's only going to be one player from week to week from the current NFL season. So last week for week 1, the player of the week was Saquon Barkley. So we're going to try to predict this week's, and then we have 2 legend players. So these are going to be players that had a good, in this case, week 1, but our predictions are going to be week 2. So a good week 2 in a previous season, but these players are not in the NFL currently. And then also we had an LTD, which was Miles Jack. That was not a card that you can get via sets because it was an LTD, of course. That's a current day player who had a good pass performance in a week 2 from a prior year. So we'll give our predictions on that. And then we have, some 84 overall and 87 overall cards. Not a ton of players getting items from Team of the Week this year. Basically an offensive and a defensive player for the 84s, same thing for the 87s, and then we went over the, the 90 overalls. And there is a chance that they could go ahead and go a +1 overall on everything and give us 91 overalls. I don't think they'll do it this week, probably next week. But let's go ahead and get right into our predictions. So on offense, it has to be Tua, right? If you saw the game, you guys may have saw my tweet if you follow me on Twitter. About halftime, even into the third quarter, it looked very promising for a Lamar Jackson upgrade, a Team of the Week card, and then Tua just went absolutely crazy. The Dolphins come back and win the game to go 2-0 on the season. I predict Tua's going to be the player of the week card, the 90 overall set card, just like we saw with Saquon. 469 passing yards and 6 touchdowns. It just does not get any better than that. One other quarterback that had a really good game, Joe Flacco. Yes, Eagles legend. He had 307 yards and 4 touchdown passes, including basically a game-winning touchdown pass from that big comeback from the Jets over the Browns. Could he potentially be one of the 87 overall cards that we get, or maybe even an 84? I think he'll fall in either of those categories, but I definitely think Joe Flacco should get a card. And of course, there are other good performances out there at the quarterback position, but we're just going to narrow it down to these 2. Now, from running backs, Aaron Jones last night had a really good game. Unfortunately, as you see on your screen here, he already has an 89 overall card. So I want to mention his performance because it was really good, 132 yards and 1 touchdown. But being that he has an 89, he's not going to get player of the week, and even if they did give it to him, they're not going to just do a +1 overall at 90 there. Also, he's not going to go backwards and get an 87. So the other running back that had a really good game, but I think falls in that same boat, is going to be Nick Chubb. 87 yards, not a ton, but it's good enough, and 3 touchdowns. Absolutely beasted out on some of my underdog fantasy drafts last night for me. As you can see here, his core elite, 86 overall, so he's obviously not going to get an 84. An 87 doesn't make sense because of the +1. Could he be player of the week instead of Tua? Absolutely. I don't think he deserves it. Tua's performance is just way too good, but it is a possibility that maybe Nick Chubb is the player of the week. It also doesn't make sense to me to do that because we had Saquon last week at the running back position. So I don't think we see any running backs, or at least any 87 or 90 overall running backs from Team of the Week, week 2. Maybe they throw in an 84 overall from another player. But let's move on to wide receivers. Tyreek Hill on the receiving end of 2 of those 6 Tua touchdown passes. Tyreek had 11 catches, 190 yards, and those 2 touchdowns. Again, he could be the 90 player of the week. I just don't see it. I think Tyreek Hill's probably a bigger name for a bigger promo and a bigger release. But we got to, point out his performance. Same thing with his teammate over there in Jalen Waddle. But he has an 88 overall MCS card that a lot of you should have got for free. Waddle had 11 catches as well for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. But being that he has this 88, there's just no way he's going to get the 90 overall. A wide receiver who probably should get a card is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has now had back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. I think I saw that he's had 6 games in a row with a touchdown catch. Rookie last year played played very well. This guy's a really, really good player. And, you know, I know a lot of you had jokes on how many points the Eagles gave up to the Lions. The Lions are a pretty good team. They get the W yesterday, and Amon-Ra St. Brown had 9 catches, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think he is a great candidate for at least an 84, but he should get one of those 87 overall cards, the 87 overall card on offense to go into the set to eventually get you a 90 overall Tua. And those are the predictions that we got for offense. Let's go ahead and switch over to defense. We got another Detroit Lion rookie, Aiden Hutchinson, who had 3 sacks in the win against the Commanders yesterday for the Lions. Now we're showing you his 86 overall rookie premier card, but remember, rookie premiers do not upgrade. It was that way last year, same way this year. So this 86 will stay an 86. I think he's a candidate to at least get an 84 overall card in tomorrow's promo, but possibly he could be one of those, or the defensive 87 overall card for Aiden Hutchinson. The guy who I think could get the 84 is going to be Draymond Jones from the Denver Broncos. He had himself a game yesterday with 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble. So again, pretty good candidate for an 84 overall. We got to mention Shaquille Barrett. He had a very good game, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble yesterday as well, but an 87 overall campus hero he already has. So I don't really see him getting an upgrade unless they go crazy and give him the 90 overall player of the week. But I just don't see it happening with campus hero promo being so close to the release that it came out on. Devin White, his teammate, has a 83 overall Corley. He also has an 85 overall like GameStop pre-order card, but he needs an upgrade, and he played like he should get one yesterday. 11 tackles on the day against the Saints, 1 sack and 1 forced fumble. So I think he's a candidate for the 87 overall on defense. And then the final defensive card is going to be Marcus Williams, but he just got an ultimate kickoff card. He had a really good game as well. 2 tackles in a losing effort here and 2 interceptions. So really, I think like Aiden Hutchinson, the 87, or Devin White, the 87, and then Draymond Jones, the 84, or if they give Devin White the 87 overall, then Aiden Hutchinson will get the 84. And then just kind of going back and recapping the offense player of the week, Tua, 87 overall for Amon St. Brown, and maybe the 84 overall for Joe Flacco. We will end the video with our legend predictions. Remember, the legends, as I said, are going to be 90 overall players likely who had good week 2 performances in prior years who are not currently in the NFL. So on offense, we did some research here. 2012 Reggie Bush, 172 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. 2011, and I would love to see this one happen, Jeremy Maclin, 13 catches, 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also in 2011, rest in peace, Vincent Jackson, 10 catches, 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. It'd be really good to see him get a card. He was in the game last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he is this year. Another homer pick, super biased here. Would love to see this one happen. 2010, LaShawn McCoy, 120 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. Really good performance. And then finally, Andre Johnson in 2009 had 10 catches for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. So those are some of the guesses as the offensive champions for week number 2. And then on defense, we have guys like Mario Williams in 2013 had 4.5 sacks in 1 game. 2011, this would be a really good one for MUT purposes. Antonio Cromartie, who always has good ultimate team cards, 2 interceptions in 2011 for him. Elvis Dumerville, we saw him in the game last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's back this year. In 2009, he had 4 sacks in 1 game and a forced fumble. This is a pretty good stat line. You know what, guys, I love to hate on my NFC East opponents, but Justin Tuck from the Giants in 2008, 1 interception, 2 sacks, and a touchdown. That's a pretty good game. And then finally, you know EA loves their Ed Reed cards. In 2003, Ed Reed had 2 interceptions and a touchdown, so I would not be surprised if that happens. And then one last thing, the LTDs, one more time for all of you that don't get it here. This is going to be a current player, a player who's currently in the NFL that had a good week 2 performance, but not this year, a prior year. Roquan Smith last year, 2021, 1 interception, 1 sack, 1 touchdown. I'm pretty sure he had a card for that performance in last year's Team of the Week program. Myles Garrett in 2019 had 3 sacks in 1 game, but he does have an 88 overall, so if they did give him a 90 overall LTD, it would be a +2, which they don't do too often, but it's possible. And then finally in 2018, Shaquille Griffin, back when he was a Seattle Seahawk, had 2 interceptions in one game. And that's it. Those are my predictions. Let me know who I missed out on down below in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.